All right. Hello and welcome everyone to another of the 2022 builds refreshes. Today we're going to talk about Loki. Now I haven't talked about Loki in an absolute age. And that is because Loki has not changed or been relevant in honestly kind of an absolute age. And I haven't played Loki like realistically for any content in probably like 5 or 6 years because he just hasn't changed. And also, I've never really liked Loki very much. Even whenever he was like the god tier Warframe, wasn't my thing. But yeah, Loki has not changed at all. You put a bunch of duration on him, and then honestly, whatever else you want is cool. I'm using an arcane helmet that gives me a little more efficiency. It honestly really doesn't matter. You just want to use a ton of duration. You don't want to run out of energy. So I slapped Streamline and Prime Flow in here. And Naira's Hatred is more duration. You could very, very easily remove Streamline, Prime Flow, Naira's Hatred, and like Constitution or Augur Message. And also you really don't need Mobilize, but it's nice. And you could slot in whatever helmet you want that also likes to have duration on it. That could be Roar or just any like very generic, relatively simple to build around thing. As long as it's not survivability, because Loki doesn't care about that because that's the only thing that is in his kit. The only thing that matters in all of Loki's kit is invisibility. You hit 2, you go invisible for 38 seconds. And then 38 seconds later, after you cast this ability, you will hit this button again and go invisible again. Switch Teleport is not relevant. Doing this does basically nothing. It is a relic of days long past. Radial Disarm, the heyday of like using like the augment for this and like removing like the threat of enemies is long since over, as we can remove the threat from enemies in completely separate ways. And there's like just no need to do this or cast this ability anymore. There's no content that it's useful in. And then Decoy. Decoy isn't even like the good version of like a decoy ability where you would have like the Octavia version of this where she throws out her roller ball. This is not invincible, dies basically instantly in any relevant content, and is not worth casting, and honestly will more likely than not get Loki killed if you're playing solo, because this will make enemies start shooting, and if they start shooting, they might inadvertently, while trying to shoot your decoy, shoot you. So casting this is normally a downside. So yeah, if you want to play just Loki, I mean, you can, but my advice is if you thought Loki looked cool, like from the outside looking in, and this is your first, hey, what's Loki about video, I would really, really highly advise you to go look at Ash instead, as he is way more of a defined playstyle and still does the invisible ninja stuff that you're probably looking for. Loki is kind of just a gun and invisible, and that's what's going on. Also, notably, his gun and invisible is also a piss filter, so if you really liked Fallout New Vegas, you can relive some of that and just fire a good gun into crowds of enemies while you're invisible with your Fallout New Vegas filter. You can do these things, and it's, you're not under threat at all. You're just invisible, and like the enemies are going to die and they cannot interact with you, and that's all fine and good. The problem is there are a ton of other Warframes that do this exact job but better, Ash, or alternatively just don't die in other ways and are also immune to the AoEs that you might encounter if your allies in a squad are being shot. So yeah, that's what's up with Loki. This is not a long video. I could do the Steel Path part of this video, but I'll be super honest, you guys can go watch anything I've done on any like gun where I've basically boiled down a Warframe into not dying and then just shot the gun for like the Steel Path test, and it's going to be the same thing. You can do all of those the exact same way with this Loki build, because that's all that is going on. I am very simply hitting 2. There's also a safety period whenever your 2 ends for like 1 second where you cannot be instantly targeted by enemies. So as long as you instantly recast your 2, they are not allowed to target you and instantly like flick and kill you, because that was a problem that was occurring. Was frames that were invisible were really bad because enemies would just instantly flick and destroy you upon you coming out of invisibility. But with the timer you get plus the shield gate, that's no longer an issue. So there's no need to like hyper position for your 2 or anything anymore. And that goes for Ash and all the other invisible Warframes as well. So yeah, that's Loki. Very short video, short and sweet. Loki does the same thing he did when he released. It's just that mods are slightly better now, and guns are much better now. And also, there's no need for any of his other abilities like there has been in the past. Although most of those uses were in raids, and in theory, were we to get raids back, maybe some of those uses would come back. But if we got the same raids, I'm pretty sure I can safely say that Loki would not be used in them. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Moving on to the next frame.